In a world full of mysteries, a bold question hangs in the air. What if Jesus wasn't just a man, but an entity from another planet? Imagine the scene: miracles happening, instant healing, and visions that defied logic. What hides behind this central figure in the story? Over the centuries, ancient civilizations have reported sightings of unidentified flying objects, and many believe these phenomena are linked to beings from other worlds. What if these beings were the true mentors of humanity? What do scientists have to hide about these revelations? Testimonies from ufologists and experts in inexplicable phenomena lead us to question: how far does the connection between the divine and the extraterrestrial go? Let's explore this intricate web of theories that defy understanding. Get ready for a deep dive into forbidden stories and hidden secrets that could change everything you think about Jesus. The truth is closer than you think, and this journey promises to open your mind to unimaginable possibilities. What do you think? Was Jesus an alien? The answer may be more surprising than you imagine. At the time of Jesus, the world was full of beliefs and mythologies that influenced people's daily lives. These were times when reports about celestial beings and divine interventions permeated ancient cultures. These stories weren't just entertainment, they shaped the way people saw the world and their relationship with the divine. Among the Hebrews, narratives of angels and prophets were common, while the Romans and Greeks also had their own deities who interacted with humans. These beliefs could be seen as a cultural preparation to accept the idea of beings from other worlds. After all, the notion of superior beings was not strange to the population. When Jesus began to perform miracles, many could have associated these actions with interventions from celestial beings, as if they were emissaries of an unknown technology. When analyzing this context, it becomes clear that the idea of extraterrestrials is not as absurd as it may seem at first glance. Furthermore, oral traditions and sacred texts of the time often mention the presence of forces beyond human understanding. This creates a fertile space for varied interpretations. If we look at ancient accounts, we will realize that the line between the divine and the extraterrestrial may be thinner than one imagines. Human curiosity has always sought to understand what lies beyond our world, and these beliefs reflect that search. It is interesting to note that, throughout history, many events have been reinterpreted in light of new discoveries and knowledge. What could previously be seen as a divine miracle, over time, can be reanalyzed from a new perspective as an interaction with beings from other planets. This flexibility in interpretation helps to understand how the figure of Jesus could be seen from different angles. Thus, the historical and cultural context of Jesus' time helps us understand how beliefs about celestial beings may have influenced the way people interpreted his miracles and teachings. This analysis leads us to think about the possibilities that existed for those who lived in a world full of mysteries and inexplicable phenomena. When we talk about the miracles attributed to Jesus, such as the healing of the sick and the multiplication of bread and fish, it is possible to approach them in a new light. Many people wonder whether these events could be explained by advanced technology, something that was beyond the understanding of the time. After all, the idea that an entity could have access to knowledge that we don't have is not so far away. For example, curing illnesses can be seen as the use of unknown medical techniques. In the modern era, we are increasingly aware that medicine can perform feats that, in ancient times, would have been considered miraculous. Today's technology, such as genetics and biotechnology, can provide cures that seem magical to those who do not have access to this knowledge. Thus, it is possible to imagine that Jesus could have used a form of technology that was not understood by his contemporaries. The multiplication of loaves and fishes is another miracle that provokes curiosity. If we look at this through the lens of technology, we can think of food production methods that were not known at the time. Using advanced farming techniques or even knowledge about nutrition could allow Jesus to feed a multitude. This view challenges traditional interpretation and raises questions about how humanity has advanced in its capabilities. Furthermore, Jesus' resurrection is a central point in discussions about his divine nature. If we consider the possibility of advanced technology, we could imagine that this involves some kind of genetic manipulation or even a deep understanding of biology. This idea, although controversial, opens up space for discussions about what life and death really mean. Thus, when investigating Jesus' miracles from the perspective of advanced technology, we are led to question our own concepts about the supernatural. This approach not only enriches the discussion about the figure of Jesus, but also makes us reflect on what may be possible when we look to the future and the discoveries that are yet to come. When we look at biblical accounts, especially those that speak of extraordinary events, it is difficult not to notice some similarities with UFO sightings. For example, the passage in which Elijah is taken to heaven in a chariot of fire may resemble the description of spaceships. Many ufologists point out that these stories could be interpretations of encounters with beings from other planets. The language used in the scriptures, often poetic and symbolic, opens up space for these different interpretations. Furthermore, there are reports of angelic figures that descend from heaven, such as those that appear to Mary and the shepherds. These encounters are often described in a way that could be associated with a visit from extraterrestrial beings. The idea that these entities could be visitors from another world is intriguing and raises questions about the nature of these apparitions. Were angels actually beings from other planets in disguise? This hypothesis, although controversial, provokes curiosity. Comparison between these reports and modern UFO sightings can also be made with descriptions of strange lights and shapes in the sky. Many historical records, such as those occurring in the Old Testament, show phenomena that cannot be easily explained and that resemble contemporary UFO sightings. This leads some to suggest that the presence of beings from other planets could have been more common than previously thought. Furthermore, events such as the crossing of the Red Sea, where the waters part, are described in such an extraordinary way that many wonder if there is a more technological explanation behind it. The idea that these interventions could be the result of advanced technology coming from outside Earth is a line of thought that has gained ground among theorists. This analysis reveals a pattern that suggests that, throughout history, humanity may have interpreted inexplicable phenomena through the lens of its beliefs and mythologies. The connection between UFO reports and biblical events is not only fascinating, but also invites deeper reflection on what these experiences mean for our understanding of the universe. When it comes to theories about Jesus as an alien entity, many ufologists have very definite opinions. They point to ancient texts that they say can be read as descriptions of extraterrestrial beings. For example, some interpretations of the book of Ezekiel speak of wheels in the sky that turn, which could be seen as ships. These scholars argue that if Jesus truly had a different origin, this would explain the miracles and his extraordinary abilities. Additionally, many conspiracy theorists claim that information about Jesus has been manipulated over time. They believe that the Christian narrative, as we know it, may have been influenced by these visits from beings from other planets. The miraculous healings and supernatural feats attributed to Jesus are seen as the results of technology that is beyond human understanding at the time. This raises questions about what we really know about his life and actions. The personal experiences of some ufologists are also frequently cited. Many of them report encounters or visions that they consider significant. Some claim to have received messages that led them to believe that Jesus was not just a man, but a being from another world with a special mission. These experiences are quite subjective, but they play an important role in shaping theories surrounding the figure of Jesus. Another relevant point brought up by these experts is the idea of a message that extraterrestrial beings could be transmitting to humanity. For them, Jesus could be a messenger from an advanced civilization, bringing teachings that aim to elevate human consciousness. This interpretation, although unconventional, provokes discussions about the meaning of spirituality and our relationship with the cosmos. The prospect that Jesus could be an alien entity opens up a range of possibilities for anyone interested in the topic. These opinions and theories invite us to rethink religious history and consider that perhaps there is more than just what is presented in sacred texts. The connection between the sacred and the unknown is a theme that continues to capture the imagination of many around the world. Considering Jesus as an alien brings to light a series of ethical and philosophical questions that can profoundly change the way we understand faith and spirituality. For many, Jesus is the central figure of Christianity, a divine being who offers hope and salvation. If this figure is reinterpreted as a being from another planet, it could lead to a full-scale crisis of faith. People might ask themselves, what does this mean for my belief, or does my religion still make sense? Furthermore, this new perspective may challenge the moral foundations that many religions establish. Jesus' teachings, which promote love for others, compassion and forgiveness, would be questioned in this new light. If Jesus is an extraterrestrial being, this could lead to a re-evaluation of the principles that guide human behavior. Morality, traditionally linked to divine values, could be seen as a social construction influenced by these entities. The idea that humanity is not the centerpiece of the universe, but just one species among many, also raises questions about our role in the cosmos. This can generate a feeling of insignificance, or on the contrary, a new responsibility. After all, if we are part of an intergalactic community, what duties do we have in relation to other forms of life? This shift in perspective could encourage greater care for the planet and life, as our understanding of what it means to be human would expand. The implications also extend to the way societies organize and govern themselves. Beliefs about the origin of humanity and the nature of the divine can influence legal systems and social norms. If the figure of Jesus is seen as alien, this could lead to a re-evaluation of laws and cultural practices, questioning whether they are still appropriate in a context where extraterrestrial life is recognized. This discussion invites us to reflect on the search for meaning. Spirituality is a fundamental part of the human experience, and changing the origins of such a central figure could give rise to new narratives about what it means to live with purpose. The search for answers and the need to understand our place in the universe become even more relevant. When talking about the possibility that Jesus was an alien, scientific skepticism manifests itself in a forceful way. The academic community generally requires concrete, verifiable evidence before accepting theories that challenge established knowledge. For many scientists, the idea that historical figures may have extraterrestrial origins lacks empirical foundation. They argue that, without tangible evidence, these theories remain in the field of speculation. Furthermore, historical and archaeological research on Jesus is vast and complex. Scholars rely on ancient texts, artifacts, and cultural contexts to understand the figure of Jesus within the history of humanity. This critical analysis finds no support in claims about alien interventions, which leads academics to dismiss such ideas as mere fantasies. Scientific methodology values observation and evidence, and in this sense, assumptions about aliens do not hold water. Another important point is the issue of critical thinking. Science encourages rigorous analysis and healthy doubt. Accepting extraordinary theories without adequate evidence can lead to misinformation and unfounded beliefs. Therefore, a critical stance is essential, especially in a world where conspiracy theories and misinformation spread quickly through social media. Skepticism is a valuable tool for discerning between what is plausible and what is just a well-crafted idea with no support. Defenders of science also point out that the story of Jesus, as understood by religious traditions, already presents enough complexity without needing to add an extraterrestrial origin. The narratives about him are deeply embedded in culture, morals, and philosophy, and reinterpreting them in this way could obscure the legacy they represent. The message of love, compassion, and sacrifice remains relevant regardless of its possible alien nature. The discussion about Jesus as an alien leads us to reflect on the way knowledge is constructed and validated. The quest to understand reality must be accompanied by a commitment to truth and evidence, and not just creative speculation. Science and faith have their own domains, and dialogue between them must be respectful and reasoned. And so we come to the end of this intriguing journey into the possibility that Jesus could be an extraterrestrial entity. But what if this is all more than just a theory? Are we just scratching the surface of hidden knowledge that has been hidden for centuries? Imagine for a moment that Jesus' miracles were actually manifestations of advanced technologies, something that our human eyes cannot comprehend. What if reports of UFO sightings in ancient times were actually evidence of visits by beings from other worlds? What would this mean for our understanding of history and spirituality? Are we ready to accept that the true nature of Jesus and his mission may be beyond our current understanding? Or does the fear of the unknown stop us from seeking these answers? If you were as fascinated as we were, leave your comment below. What other theories would you like to explore? And remember, the truth may be stranger than fiction. Get ready, because in our next video we will unravel more mysteries that history preferred to forget. Don't miss it.